Alright guys, what's up? So I'm back again with another video. Now, this one is basically two things in one, what I'm going to cover in this video, and that. So it's going back on the news that we got on N7, dating that blog by Michael Gamble. And obviously the first thing was, we knew we didn't really get like much details, obviously, regarding the next Mass Effect game, apart from that the team is working incredibly hard on exploring all universes and everything. So we're not really any further forward on getting closer to a release date or anything. I still think it's probably going to be in probably another 2-3 years if we're lucky, and that's actually been positive, to be honest, because I still think it would take a bit longer, but obviously I've mentioned that before. But we did get like some good information and very interesting information regarding the Mass Effect TV series, where obviously BioWare has obviously teamed up with Amazon, and we got some like really good information about that, which is interesting, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more in this video. And at the very end, I will talk about a little something that's kind of been dominating the Mass Effect community at the minute regarding this Krogan civil war that's apparently supposed to be going to be in the next Mass Effect game, which is quite interesting. So I will touch on that near the end of the video, but obviously right now we'll start talking about the details of the Mass Effect TV show. But before I get cracking with the video properly, if you would do us a massive favour, guys, hit the like button and subscribe if you like the content. If you like and subscribe if you like the content, I would really appreciate that. And share with friends, family, basically share with anyone that loves Mass Effect and that, because obviously I do put a lot of dedication into this channel. I do appreciate the support as always. You guys are absolutely incredible, and I've enjoyed doing the shorts, and that I've been doing over the past couple of weeks. The shorts have been doing well. We've done about 18. Actually, no, we've done more than that, because we've done about 18 where I've done certain lines from certain characters in the games, and I've done about maybe 2 or 3 non-ones. I even tried to do a modern Solus as well, so you know. But I've been enjoying doing the shorts, but I do need to get back to doing some gameplay as well, and that I'm just trying to find the time, because obviously I've been a little bit busy and stuff as well. But hopefully over the next couple of days and that you'll start seeing a little bit more gameplay on the content. I still want to try and get back to maybe doing an odd stream as well. I haven't streamed in that for about, was it 2 months, I think, the last time I checked in that. So yeah, I definitely want to get back to streaming and that. I still want to stream through all 3 games and then get back to doing some Andromeda again sometime, because I don't mind Andromeda. I like it. As a standalone game in the universe, I don't mind Andromeda. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I personally don't mind it, so yeah. But anyway, enough rambling on, and that's obviously you're here for obviously the N7 news that we got regarding TV show and Krogan Civil War. So let's go into it. So we got the news that the Mass Effect TV show is obviously going to be set after the trilogy. Now, I did find that quite interesting when I first saw the news, because I actually thought that with the Mass Effect TV series they were going to go down the route, and I think I even did a video about this before. I thought they were going to go down the route of like The Last of Us, where they were just going to kind of almost copy and paste like what happened in the games, but maybe change an odd 1 or 2 things and add a few new elements here and there. That's what I personally wanted, and I was hoping for that, because obviously I love Mass Effect, and I don't want it's the lore, or it's anything like that. I don't want what it was and that getting hampered or kind of ruined or anything, especially on the big screen. But the news that we got though about it, nothing to do with Shepard, and that it is set after the trilogy. Now I do find that quite interesting, because it means that they're going to do something completely different, something that we haven't seen before. But what I wanted to talk about in this video, and that is, does that mean that I personally, in my own personal opinion, I definitely think we're going to get at least, I think we're going to at least get 1 season of Mass Effect on Amazon before we actually get Mass Effect 4. Like, I really do believe that with like Mass Effect 4, Mass Effect 5, whatever you want to call it. I call it Mass Effect 4 because I don't class Andromeda like as Mass Effect 4. I class that as just Andromeda because it's its own standalone game. It's basically a Mass Effect game in the Mass Effect universe, but it's not connected. Whereas we know with the new like Mass Effect when it comes out, it's obviously it's kind of going to be a crossover and that, like, because it looks like you are going to have elements of the trilogy, but being in the Andromeda universe, which is also something I will touch upon in the like Krogan Civil War thing in a bit. But obviously we'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, like what I'm kind of thinking is like I said, we're gonna get like season 1 of the Mass Effect TV show before we get the next Mass Effect game. But also we know with the Mass Effect game is obviously like Mass Effect 4 when it comes out is going to be set after the trilogy as well. We already got that, so that makes me think, even though the TV show is not. It's the TV show's going to do its own thing, right? Whether it has little like hints or little Easter eggs or anything connected to the trilogy, obviously I don't know. We'll just have to like wait and see. Obviously, when we finally get it. But what I'm thinking is the TV show and the next Mass Effect game going to be connected to each other? Are they going to be completely in the same universe? Like, is it actually going to be one of those like things and that where obviously I'm a Mass Effect fan, and obviously I'm pretty sure all Mass Effect fans will watch the series and play the game. But is it one of those like situations where you really need to watch the TV show? Because if you don't watch the TV show, then come when the next Mass Effect game comes out, is some people going to be a little bit lost off? Are they going to have missed a few things that were covered in the TV show? Because it is like interesting, because you wouldn't have thought of like any of this if the TV show was going to be what I thought it was going to be, where it was just going to cover Shepard's like story and everything and cover basically the trilogy. But it's not. It's doing its own thing, and that like after it's going away from the Shepard storyline, and it's going like, and it's set after like the events of the trilogy. And like I said, the next Mass Effect game's going to like do that as well. So, like, are they going to be connected? And that is it going to be like, is it going to be like certain like elements? I mean, I know like that is something like that is quite hard to do, and that's obviously like, you know, like live action to a video game. But because they're both like going to be set after the trilogy, that does make me think there is a high possibility that we are probably going to get some elements of like similarities and a few things. Like for example, when we finally do get it one day, you're playing the game and that, like you play Mass Effect 4, right? And then you're like, oh yeah, that character and that, that event that was meant, that was actually like covered and that was like spoken about like in the Mass Effect TV show. So I think that's quite interesting. That like I do, like I mean it might not, and that there might not even be like any connections whatsoever. But I'm just like thinking, would it be interesting, like if there was similarities and if they were connected like together, the TV show. I mean, also because it does seem like it is taking a long time. Because it was, wasn't it? It was basically what 3-4 years ago when we got that reveal of the next Mass Effect game, something like that. Maybe even a bit longer, but also it's like one of those like things. Like, is the Mass Effect TV show, is that going to be multiple seasons, or is that going to be like an extended mini series, and that just to like build up towards the next game? There's a few ways of like looking at it, which actually could make the whole situation even more interesting, where you have to watch it before you play the next Mass Effect game, because if you don't, and if there is like some topics and there is like some events that happen in the TV show that's brought up in the next game, then you're going to be completely lost if you haven't watched the TV show. But I'm pretty sure most Mass Effect fans would do that. But just say if there was like a casual gamer, someone who wanted to watch the Mass Effect TV show, but they like playing the Mass Effect games, but let's just say they played the trilogy but they never played Andromeda, and they're thinking, oh, like it's been built up to be like a big game, so I'm going to play Mass Effect 4 and that. Or just say like they didn't watch the TV series, but they do like the Mass Effect games, but they're not a hardcore Mass Effect fan. That's what I'm trying to say. If they played it, and that, but there's loads of things that's been covered that they know absolutely nothing about, and they're going to be like completely lost because they haven't watched a TV show. So if they do go down that route, that will be quite like interesting. If it like, is it like basically like yeah, like, is it a prequel for the next game? Is it setting up the next game, the TV series? Who knows? And that, but it is quite interesting. But you guys can let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below regarding the TV series. Now, do you think the TV series is just going to be its own thing? Which is very likely. It might just be its own thing, and that, like, it might have nothing. It might have very little to do with the games. Could be just its own thing, which could still work, mind you. It could still work. Or are they like setting the TV show up and that, like, as a gateway, and that to build up the anticipation and get elements of the story going for like Mass Effect 4. I don't know, it's quite interesting, but like, thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, and I may like read what you guys think. So yeah, right. So the final part of this video. So the Krogan's like civil war. Now, originally I didn't like to take like notice of this, but I've seen a few like other Mass Effect like content creators and that, like, where in Michael Gamble's like blog, I think there was certain little parts in that were kind of like Easter eggs, like there were little hints in that, like hinting towards something to do with Krogans, I believe, and people's like deciphered it, if that's what you want to say, and apparently, and that we've all seen that like image where it says Krogan Civil War, and that's all we basically know. I mean, here's another thing for you: is Krogan Civil War just going to be in Mass Effect 4? It's definitely going to be in Mass Effect 4, we know that. But is the Krogan Civil War element going to be in the TV show as well? That's a little thought for you as well. But at first I didn't really know what to think. I thought, Krogan Civil War, that could be interesting. I mean, obviously there's always been conflict and that, and tension among their own people with Krogans. You know, like some have the certain ways with the genophage, where some want to stay behind and help the people, some just want to go off and be like mercenaries and stuff. But I saw someone mention this, and I can't remember where like I saw this and that, like, so unfortunately I think I've kind of stolen this idea of this person, so I do apologise for that. But it's a really good theory, and I think it makes the most sense. And that, I mean, whichever route they go down, and that will be interesting to see how far they take this Krogan Civil War like aspect, and that, like, in the next game, or even potentially the show, we don't know. But talking about, could it be a Krogan Civil War between the Krogans from the Milky Way and the Krogans from the Andromeda system? Now that would be interesting, and that does make a lot of sense when you think about it, because it goes back to the whole thing of the next Mass Effect game is obviously, it's set after the trilogy and that, and obviously people keep talking about Shepard and stuff and that. I still say firstly, I don't think Shepard's going to be like involved. I'm not saying, I mean, Shepard could be, you know, like if they do flashbacks or anything like that, or, you know, like dreams or visions or something, maybe. I'm not ruling that out completely, but for me, Shepard returning just wouldn't work for me, in my opinion. Unless you like do like a whole, what was it, like blooming Alien, was it Alien Resurrection and that, and like a clone Ripley and that, you do a clone, maybe a clone Shepard, but would that be going a little bit too far? I don't know. You can't rule it out, like, to be fair in that, but Shepard coming back exactly as they were, it just wouldn't work for me. But anyway, so we know the next game is set after the trilogy. We saw the teaser, we know Liara's in it. There could be other like characters in. I mean, you could still get like potentially Grunt and Rex like being in the game, because of, you know, like basically any like racers who have long lifespans could be in it, right? So we know there's going to be a few connections to the trilogy, but also, and that it is aiming towards being in the Andromeda system, so it is going to be like a crossover, because this goes back to when I've done a video in the past where like they wanted to do like a second Andromeda, which they did, because if you've played Mass Effect Andromeda, spoiler if you haven't, right, there's your little warning, but the way Mass Effect Andromeda ends it sets it up perfect for a sequel. We never got the sequel of Andromeda. I would have personally liked a sequel because I did enjoy it. I did like the characters. Not as good as the trilogy characters, of course not. Is the story like as good as the trilogy? Definitely not, no. But it's intriguing, it's interesting, and I would have liked to have like seen more of the Andromeda like universe. But the way it ends, like it sets it up perfectly that way. Like you defeat the Archon, who was the leader of the Ket. But then after that, and like after the I think is it before or after the credits? I can't quite remember. You see another Ket, like potential leader, like looking at. I think it's looking at Meridian, like the planet, like from near the end of like Mass Effect Andromeda, and then he walks like towards the camera and then it obviously like the screen darkens, and that like it blanks out. So to me, it was aiming towards a sequel, but we never got a sequel. But then, like, to me, it seems like, rather than getting a Mass Effect Andromeda sequel, we're going to get a little crossover. So I think you are going to get some of the characters from Andromeda being in the next game. But with obviously Liara being part of the Milky Way and the trilogy, like, universe. And they're all going to be, like, kind of connected and have to deal with a potential new threat, like whether it's bringing like Reapers back into the equation, or whether it's the whole Ket threat, or maybe it's like the Reapers and the Ket potentially like teaming up. Who knows? I mean, I know it all like depends on like how like Mass Effect 3 like ends as well. But the whole idea of Krogan's civil war and Krogans from the Milky Way and Krogans from Andromeda does make sense, because I don't know if this was intentional, because some races and that, like, in Andromeda do look slightly different to the way they looked in the trilogy. Now, I don't know if you just have to take that because of, like, because Andromeda is a newer game compared to the trilogy, but Solarians seem very tall in Andromeda compared to Solarians in the trilogy. Krogans do look a lot different, and I think Krogans look bigger in Andromeda than what they do like in the trilogy, and that's saying something. Turians, I think Turians were pretty much the same, but Solarians and Krogans, there was a massive difference between like their races. Asari were pretty much the same. Asari and Turians were pretty much the same in Andromeda, but Krogans and Solarians seem very different, and that's made me think, when you're getting different races in other like parts of like the universe, and that, like, are they meant to look different? And I don't know. So that's why it gets me interested in thinking, could there be like a civil war between, Krogan species, but because they're from like different parts of like the universe, could that be like part of it? Like where they have different ways, they have different beliefs, and they don't agree with each other, and when they first meet, and that they're not going to like what they see from one another, and it's going to lead into a massive conflict. Maybe the Krogan Civil War aspect and that of Mass Effect 4 is going to be, whether like they make this into a new trilogy, I don't know. But is the Krogan Civil War going to be like the next? Is that going to be the future of Mass Effect, of what the Geffen Quarian War was like in the trilogy? Is the Krogan Civil War going to be like the new version of that? Possibly. So it is quite interesting. But yeah, guys, you let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, like what you think of all like the topics and that. Do you think the Mass Effect TV show is a setup and that to introduce the next Mass Effect game, or do you think there's going to be no connection with both whatsoever? And what are your thoughts on the Krogan Civil War? That's obviously kind of been leaked and hinted and everything, and that it's all quite interesting. It's getting you more excited. Unfortunately, we're still nowhere near the next game, but the TV show, I think we should be getting the TV show, in my own personal opinion, maybe within the next year and a half or so if we're lucky. But the next game, probably another 2-3 years if we're lucky in that. But we just have to keep our eyes out for any further updates, any rumours, and see where it takes us. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. And yeah, like going forward, I'll still do some more shorts. I need to do some more like gameplay. I mean, I do want to play some Mass Effect, and I just haven't like had the time. But like I said, in the next couple of days or so, you will definitely see like some gameplay content on the channel from time to time. So yeah, and if I can squeeze a stream in at some point, I definitely want to do that as well. I definitely want to get back to streaming as well. So yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, look after yourselves, enjoy the rest of your day, night, wherever you are, and I'll catch you guys next time. Take care. Peace. Keeler Salai.